ready to stand.
Welcome to this new week, the week of joy, the week of glory, and the blessing and the success. The God of heaven continue to be with you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mike, I want to say very good morning to you. Happy new week. I want to say another good morning to our esteemed viewers across the globe. I say happy new week to you all. May you continue to thrive in your various endeavors. And we say God bless you all for being there with us.
Despite we got the tragic news about the death of the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, some Nigerians still believe he died in 2017.
Yes.
You said yes.
Yes.
Why? Let me start by saying this. In the name of trying to make somebody angel and accept whatever he say, it's very, very dangerous. Part of information dishing out from the same source that declared that Buhari died in 2017 was that there was a written agreement in our amalgamation law that after 100 years we can review. And people that know, they have went to check that archive, they have went to check that document. There is nothing like that. Nothing like that clause of 100 years. In fact, we later discovered that what we are worshiping as amalgamation, that God that joined us together today, was just a device developed by somebody, Lord Lugard, to make it easier for him to govern both North and Southern Protectorate. We can go on our separate way. So there is nothing like 100 years, whatever. And if anybody have that document, it should show us. So somebody saying that is not true can also say what you don't know. Sometimes, or what he quests. I don't want to mention him. Let's put that one apart. Either Buhari died in 2017, or he died in 2025. Death is death, and all of us we owe it to the nature. Either you are a good or you are bad even if you are an angel, you come from heaven. So fine. Jesus Christ wear this body, and God don't forgive. God don't give him that. You have this body has to go. So for me, as a human being, as a mother, and somebody to wish somebody rest of mind, RIP is a choice. It's not that I don't want to judge Buhari based on what he did. I just want to wish him RIP. Anything out of that is a story. Right. He's dead. He has performed in his own best way that he know. It's not good enough for me, but I wish him RIP.
All right, Mr. Femi just said he did his best, tried his best. Even in the comment section, our viewers are saying he tried his best. Why we have some viewers criticizing him? But at this point in time, should he be celebrated or criticized?
I think I will also have to reframe your statements. If we say we want to condole somebody, we pass our condolence to somebody who is dead. It's not in my nature to critique the dead. And any commonsensical human being, knows that he has served this country either good or bad, positive or negative. Because they say it's not always good to talk ill of the dead. But while he was still alive and he has his consciousness very much intact, was he dragged to any court of law, and was he taken to any public opinion template to sample how he has been able to serve this country? But good or bad, you understand, he is a person. You and I standing here on City Stand, one day we also have to say goodbye. Then nobody has the monopoly of judgment over anybody's life except our Creator, who is the Almighty God. I want to believe that anybody that cares to listen is that no matter how good a person is, there is no system that is foolproof. Even in the United States of America, when there was a time during the time of Al Gore and the other Bush, when they contested, and after the election had already been concluded, and later Americans saw that there were votes that were not counted in the whole thing. It shows that no matter how a system may seem to be good, but there are also some merits in it. Then Buhari as a person, to me, he has served this country in his own capacity as a former president. He needs to be mourned. It's a tragic news that we have had that of his passage to meet his ancestors in the other world. I want to believe that I want to say adieu to Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari and his family for having served this country. And if we were to look at his trajectory of his stewardship to this country, you cannot rule out some of the salient points that he brought to the fore in order to make sure that we have a safe society. I mean, you will recall, Mike, that during the time of 1983, military rule, 85, you will see that Nigeria was, even though I'm not an advocate of a military rule, but we could see a semblance of yes, they fought against corruption, and you could see when they were in the saddle of governors, even though there were stricter laws in trying to put us in check. I could recall that slogan, war against indiscipline, started from their own era, and it tends to give a semblance of sanity of how human beings should behave. And I want to believe that if that government had been allowed, without being truncated, to go on, maybe Nigeria would not have been having this kind of a state that we have now found ourselves. But one thing is that give or take, and it was on that mode that Nigerian populists rested on that strike that brought them to power come 2015 when he came on board as a civilian. But if we check that time, 2 weeks, I think General Tunde Idiagbon will always come to the fore to announce to the nation how much money, how much crude has been sold for people that were born over there. I mean, they were mature then.
There was also an update.
Yes, because money don't money over bottom. About you see one of those things that those are the salient points, and it was on that crest that people now said, if he's coming again as in a civilian garb, he will translate what happened then into the civilian governance. I want to believe that, give or take, he has done his best.
But did he succeed?
No, he didn't succeed because at the time he got confused because then he was ruling with as an autocrat. Then because authoritarian, when you say it, you act it. As a military in a military setting, that's what it is. That is what is obtainable in military setting. But in civilian gap, once you want to do something, it has to go through the goals of the National Assembly. They want to pass votes. They have delaying time. But in the military gap, you move that in there, and it goes. It's another. But going, then they have to debate, wasting a lot of time trying to say who is for, who is against. You know those things. He never really understood what civilian governance is all about. I think give or take, he has done it well. He has been able to perform to some extent. But the only sad comment is that successive government that took over from me, how have they been able to learn some of those good lessons from the first coming as a military person, so that they continue to add value. I believe that government is a continuum, and whosoever is coming to the race of governance should be able to even add more to what he or she met, and that is how government is being performed all over the world.
Thank you so much, Mr. Femi. What should he be remembered for? Is it as a military dictator or a failed Democrat?
Well,
He do well economically,
his performance
wise.
we can mark Buhari. If I want to help Buhari in marking his script, I will go to his military era. That was when we have the best of Buhari. Some people will usually come out to say that if not for Idiagbon, but who allow Idiagbon to have that power? If I'm your boss, if I don't allow you to perform, you will not perform under military. So Buhari, let's give it to Buhari as well, that give Idiagbon to perform. We have had so many vice presidents. If Buhari told Idiagbon to resign that time, they don't burn him well. This was a military era that time. You can remove him, but he give him chance to perform, and it give them success that time. Actually,
But what happened to his vice here?
So his vice,
In the civilian rule.
no, his vice, the narrative have changed.
Because you said he gave him one chance.
Yes, let me tell you one thing.
And when he was elected into the office,
Let
did he give his
me
vice
tell
that
you.
opportunity?
Remember that we are all born Nigerians, and this syndrome of Nigeria, the blood of Nigeria, is flowing. It's not that his military era was also perfect, but to some extent they were able to maintain discipline and there was sanity, orderliness. You cannot say so many Agbero in Lagos State that Buhari dealt with. We are not, according to Baba, that there are so many Agbero in Lagos State here, like Ayo Kiniko, Ayo Success. All these Ayo Success, so many of them that Buhari, he dealt with them, he brought sanity. It's not that it was perfect that time, but people could see that we are moving towards the right path. Because immediately they took over from Buhari, we saw the other side. Some people are still yearning for, if to say it's possible, the combination of Buhari and Idi at that time. People that like discipline, they are still yearning for it. They are still looking for the way when somebody we catch as a armed robber, they will take him to maybe ocean to go and do the public. I mean, firing square. Some people are still looking for that day to come, but we don't see it. What I'm trying to say is this: Buhari has stayed at home. He has learned from our politicians how they rule, and he has seen that majority of these people, some of them, they only think about themselves or their tribe. And people that you see, Buhari has become a soft Buhari before he become the civilian president. He has been commanding by people that surround him. Everybody know who are the people that are controlling Buhari when Buhari was alive as a civilian president. You talk of Kyari, the late Kyari. Yes, Mama and Daura. You see these two people, that one that was controlling Buhari at that moment. And Buhari should have saved himself shame by not becoming Nigeria president as a civilian president. We have had best of him, but he want to copy the like of Obasanjo. He would have been thinking that, what did Obasanjo do during military era that I don't do better? What make Obasanjo to return as a civilian president? He also deserves to become a president, and he fought. That was the last stage. That was the last battle of his life, fighting to become president consecutively 4 times. But God make him president for the last 4 time. So the best of Buhari has finished during military era. He's only remain. Do you know that it was even
This means he had nothing to offer.
he had nothing to offer again? They just use it to wrestle power from Buhari, from Jonathan that time. And all these people, they know, they look left and right. They see that okay, who else can we bring? And they market Buhari and they package Buhari like a refurbished product, and Nigeria bought it and could not test. You see, let me tell you, somebody like Buhari would be surprised. Somebody like Buhari that was a military head of state that left naira to dollar at almost equal rate, now came back 30 years later, now saw the situation. So all of you, when we were ruling, you said you are not doing too well. Now you have taken over power for the past 30 years. Look at what you have done Nigeria to. Do you know how much plane Obasanjo left in Nigeria Airway before he relinquished power to Shagari? When Obasanjo came back, he couldn't meet one of them. Do you know how many ships we have that time? Go to Igomu, go and see National Theatre that Obasanjo built there that time. How did he meet it when he come back? All these things may discourage a leader. So when you are even crying that you are military, when they were military, they built 3 refineries, functioning. Then immediately we return to democracy. What happened to them? So all these things, when Buhari even came back, we look at it. So this is only what you can do. See what you have turned Nigeria to. See what you have turned Nigeria to. When we were there, you were crying. See, so all these things put together may make Buhari a civilian president, just been there for fun's sake or to help Fulani.
All right, this is a great delivery by Mr. Vincent Femi. This is coming from Big T Prince, and we have Tochi Dan saying that some people can never understand how backwards Nigeria has gone from Buhari to Tinubu. If there is an F to 10 after F9, that's what Buhari was.
You see, I want to believe that that person is also stating some kind of an obvious statement, because I did mention that I gave a dichotomy on this when I started my introduction, that when we were to assess the time of his coming to governance as a military person and civilian, I could still give Buhari some form of a passable percentage when he ruled as a against armchair theorization or theory. I would say that Buhari, when he came to power as a military president, a military president, he did far well. If other successive governments are taking cue to some of those salient points in that era, I think Nigeria would not have found herself in the present position that we currently have now. But give or take, when you look at governance, it's a sad commentary on the collective psyche of Nigerians as a people. That we up to this present moment, we still see this kind of people being recycled in the corridors of power to rule us. And I see that it's like when they come to governance, they see that the challenges, they are being overwhelmed by the challenges that they meet. You understand? So then they don't have the technical know-how on how to take us from that quagmire that we found ourselves. And when you look at what is happening today, is that until the templates, I repeat, until the templates, which I mean that the constitution, which is the ground norm of Nigeria, the ruling document of Nigeria, is tampered with and made in all the yearnings of the people that are resident in Nigeria as a mass of people, as a citizen of this country. And before I came on board, even in today's daily, I heard that some people have been drafted to other, people like Chief Emeka Nyoku, you know, the pedigree, the former Secretary General of this country, of Commonwealth. You can see if such people is coming to the fore to draft a constitution that is workable for Nigerians, I think we will get to that Eldorado that we envisage. I want to believe that when we continue to do the things over and over again in a stereotype way, we cannot get a different result. Stereotype is that doing something over and over again without changing your mode, you can't get a different result. It will continue to show out that same thing. And Nigeria, for crying out loud, we should not be pedestrians with our ways of life. Every other people are working, because now we are in the global village. People they have now taken AI as a tool for greater achievement. Then what is Nigeria doing? We are still pedestrian, we are still mechanistic in our way. And I think it's not good for our polity, it's not good for this country.
Buhari is to be buried today. His resident, talking about his residence, talking about Daura. And we've seen the way Nigerians are reacting to the situation currently. What lessons do you think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should learn from the death of former President Muhammadu Buhari?
We should learn a very big lesson. In fact, this question you asked me crop up in my mind this morning, that they want to do fake meeting now. All of them, they will not go and think about it, meditate about it, that this is how all of us are going to be going one day. Whether Buhari died in 2017 or he died in 2024, the bottom line is that he's dead. And one thing that is very sure is that all of them, they will go one day. What are they going to be talking about me if I left? He himself, Tinubu, should be able to go down and sit down and judge Buhari life, especially as a civilian president, not as a military, because he was the one that brought him in and judged a lot of error that Buhari committed and learn lesson from there. Otherwise, one day, in fact, if you turn yourself to Methuselah, you also go one day. Buhari is 82. Some people say it's older than that. Some people say he has died long time ago. All need put together. Somebody will enter ground today. Let me tell you one thing. You see this Nigeria, we have to be very, very careful about so many challenges we are facing. Do you know that despite that Nigeria don't have a good health facility? Remember during Ebola, somebody remember that there is a country called Nigeria. I've forgotten the name of that guy from Liberia. He remember a country called Nigeria, and he brought Ebola to this country, and God conquered Ebola in Lagos State here. One of health facility in Lagos State. God used Nigeria to conquer Ebola. Ebola did not spread. Why? It killed so many people. To tell you that it's not all about how big is your hospital. I don't know what language I want to use again. All these our leaders. Do you know what some of them are afraid? Okay, even if the federal government or state government hospital does not function well, is there no private hospital? There are so many functioning private hospitals that can handle any situation you think of in this country. What happened to you? Is it not the same sickness that happened to? Is it dialysis you want to do? What do you want to do that they cannot do in this country? Do you know what make some of them run away? They are afraid of their shadow. They don't know who is their enemy, who is their friend, and they will not want to fall cheap into the hand of their enemy. They don't know who is watching. They don't know I mean, which angle enemy want to enter them. That's why majority of them run away to UK, to France, to everywhere. It does not mean that they cannot treat them in this country.
All right,
you see, before I go, I take my leave. I want to say that Nigeria as a country is very, very richly blessed, both in human capacity and resources. A situation whereby our leaders that ought to set the pace, for we the Nigerian masses to take a cue from, are running outside the country. And we, for crying out loud, Nigeria has the best medical hands, tested medical hands all over the world. Even those countries that they are running to, they are being attended to by Nigerian medical professionals. But I think it's a sad commentary on a nation called Nigeria that we continue to spend our hard-earned money, our collective patrimony, to also contribute to the economy of the outside world, when we can easily bring all those implements down to this country and we have good personnel that can use it. I think it's a sad commentary.
Thank you so much.
City Stand. City Stand.